It's quite existential.
A word we don't know. We're adrift in Macao, adrift in Macao.
And time's moving slow.
Somebody the other night was at the show and said it's like a 90-minute party. And it really is. When on really great nights, it's just this sort of, we have fun and hang out.
The last few weeks have just been crazy, but really great. You know, the audiences have just been accepting it and loving it and really going with us. And I don't know, it's just feeling like we've really kind of, made it. We've got a home and here we are. It's just wonderful. It's a great feeling.
Don't carry too much with me. It's okay sleeping nude. But that's too much information for a grumpy mood. Can't go home, so I must wonder as to the reason I don't want to say.
I describe this show as being a combination of film noir, parody, and Christopher Durang.
I guess a madcap romp through the genre of film noir and all of those wonderful films of the 50s, and with, the romance and the intrigue and the surprises that genre has.
It's a mixed bag of, sometimes in those old movie musicals of that era of the 40s and 50s, they would break into song about anything, like, I found a quarter, and then all of a sudden they're off and running, and I don't know, I try to incorporate some of that into the show.
It plays like a 90-minute sketch, like on Saturday Night Live or something with great songs. It plays like this long 90-minute uninterrupted comedy sketch where everybody's kind of sending up each other, and this kind of tough guy femme fatale movies of the late 40s and 50s.
The plot's ridiculous. The plot is really about the intersection of a bunch of characters who were stranded in Macao, China, at this weird moment in their lives. A guy who can't go back to America for God knows what reason. It turns out he was framed for a murder. And there's a backstory which is hardly important. And a woman who arrives in Macao having nothing to wear but the slinky evening dress that's on her back, and she miraculously gets a job as a nightclub singer.
If you're not too Caucasian on this Chinese occasion, dance the mambo of Asian, yo-cho-ho! Aye, aye, yay! Aye, aye, yay! When you hear the mambo beat, it's time for dancing feet. Although, of course, we try to be discreet. You get mambo, it make you naughty in the bed. Look out, there's mambo up ahead. Mambo with me.
It's a very specific style to if people can do it or not. Within the first 15 seconds of the audition whether someone can do Durang or not. It's very interesting. And you kind of can't teach them how to do it. You can guide them, but they have to know the way to do it.
I think this is a very hard one because the cast has to do so much. The songs are such that they have to all be good singers. So you have to have people who sing, and then people who look kind of right. The glamorous nightclub star has to look at least somewhat glamorous, and Rachel looks very glamorous. And then my material is, I think, tricky to do. The comedy of it is hard.
It's a very silly, funny show, but I think it was Steve Martin who once said comedy is hard. This is so delicate. If a line shifts just a beat, a breath, a gesture, a joke doesn't land. And these guys are brilliant at having uncovered exactly the way to reach the core of the humor.
I have a song I am singing in a big loud voice. You're listening to me. You have little choice. Now hear me hit a note that's high. I'll hold that note and make it fly. I am talented. Why didn't they write me a song?
It's such a juggling act. It never gets dull because you're just constantly juggling all the different styles, and the styles of comedy and the styles of acting and the writing, and it's fun. And the audience, which is always a character in a comedy.
By the end of the rehearsal process, you're kind of starving for an audience because you want to know how it's going to play. And with most comedies, at least in my experience, you get to a certain point and you can count on certain laughs. which is almost not the case with this show. Christopher Durang he's so funny that almost every line could be a punchline.
You know, and the audience is really with you, and they're like riding that wave and the laughter. It just goes, and it brings out new things in you as an actor in the moment, things that maybe you never even thought of before. So it's really great.
It's not like any kind of comedy I've ever been called on to play. So it was a real challenge and a learning experience. You know, at my age, I can still learn a ton, which is very refreshing.